You two people. Pokemon's heading to zero. That's what everyone's telling me. Booster boxes are collapsing. My collection value is going down by the minute. It is crazy times in the streets. Or is it? Fun with numbers and looking at various time ranges in today's video. As most people have known, the once hot Pokemon market, at least on the sealed side, I haven't looked at singles, it's not really my game, has slowed and even retraced some, which, to be quite honest, probably overdue for that to begin with. But one thing that I noticed today when digging into this stuff, here I have, we're in Market Movers, link in the description down below. I often get questions about the tools that I use for this, because I don't think a lot of people in the Pokemon space use this stuff. What I have here is Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield booster boxes all on one big old chart. And in Market Movers, this is called price movements. And you can put in all different parameters that you want. I have Pokemon, booster box type, whatever. And we're going to look at some ETBs too. And over the last 30 days, I have it sorted by most expensive to least expensive. And we're not going to read through each individual box here. But just as I scroll down this list, pay attention to these two red numbers over here. This is the price either drop or increase if it's green. And this is the percentage. So Evolving Skies is expensive. It's a big number going down, but it's actually only a small percentage of the overall price. So just scrolling real quick here, what do you notice? There is very little green, and the couple of green numbers that are on there are pretty small. So over the last 30 days, there has definitely been a retracement. I could see it on my overall collection chart. I have my collection entered in the Market Movers, and it shows me like a huge graph that shows, you know, the price over time of the entire collection. And you could definitely see it starting to dip down the last basically month, kind of flat, and then it's been slowly going down. And this backs us up. We all know this. And then over here, I've talked about this in previous videos, a column that I really like to look at is this volume percentage change. And this Market Movers pulls data from eBay. What this shows is the difference in volume from the previous 30 days compared to the last 30 days. So essentially, how much less or more is selling in the last 30 days compared to the previous 30. And once again, as we scroll through here, over the last 30 days, there is a lot of red. There is one little patch of green, and it is Surging Sparks. And that's because that recently got a reprint, so a big spike up there as people dumped it. But everything else is in the red, and pretty decent amounts in the red. 30%, 30%, 40%. Now, what I found intriguing is if we change the days that we're looking at, it actually tells a completely different story. Let's look at the last 14 days. So the last 2 weeks instead of the last 30 days. When we look at the pricing, we immediately see more green than red. There is still a decent amount of red. The numbers are a little bit smaller, but we are also seeing some green mixed in. And once again, the red numbers that we're seeing are, in most cases, a lot smaller, you know, other than Fusion Strike, but most of these are very small movements. There are a couple of larger ones. The thing that really caught me is the volume change percentage. Over the last 2 weeks, so the last 14 days compared to the previous 14 days to that, we are seeing in the last 14 days a decent amount of green, about 50-50 split. So my thought here is the prices on booster boxes are coming down. They've been creeping down over the last 30 days. And now, in the last week or two, it looks like people are starting to swoop in. The amount of inventory is coming to market. It's lowering that price down. But now it's at the point on some stuff where folks are coming in and saying, hey man, if people are willing to sell at this price, I am here to buy. And the buying has picked up in the last 14 days. Now, the prices have not gone crazy or gone to the moon or anything, but it's kind of helping to start stabilizing things. Now, is this a leading indicator? Are we going to see things where things have been creeping down the last month or so? Are we going to see them kind of level off a little bit, as now it's gotten to the point where there are buyers waiting to gobble up that inventory? Let's look at specialty sets, because a similar trend here, at least in the last 30 days. I actually haven't looked at this one for the last 14, so we'll do that together. This is, I have pulled up here both ETBs, Pokemon Center ETBs, and booster bundles for Prismatic, 151, Crown Zenith, Paldean Fates, and Shrouded Fable. So I have these just sorted by most expensive to least expensive. Once again, I don't necessarily want to focus too much on the individual sets. Let's just look at the red or the green numbers. And over the last 30 days, there is a little bit of green here, not huge numbers. You know, Prismatic's up a whopping $8 in ETB, nothing crazy. 151's up $11, nothing crazy. The Pokemon Center 151 ETB is down $65. That seems like a big number, but that's almost $1,000 ETB, so it's only a 7% change. So we are seeing some fluctuations on these as well. Not quite as large. Crown Zenith took a little bit of a hit. Shrouded Fable took a little bit of a hit. So not as bad as the booster box side of things. On the volume percentage change, there is a lot of red here. The only ones that are in green are Crown Zenith and Paldean Fates, up slightly. Everything else, though, is significantly in the red, like 30, 40, 50%. So way less have sold in the last 30 days. Now, I haven't actually looked at this yet. Let's look at the last 14 days to see if it looks like booster boxes do. On the prices, let's start there. About the same. 50-50 split on red versus green. Still some pretty small numbers. On the volume change, still a ton of red. There are a few greens, but not a ton. Prismatic Evolution, way up in the green on booster bundles. But other than that, everything else pretty much in the red. So that's kind of intriguing that ETBs are way different on the specialty sets, at least from a people swooping in to buy perspective, than the booster boxes are. I have no logical reason why that would be, or it's just that people are seeing maybe the booster boxes have dropped more, so people are more willing to go in and grab those, or people are just more focused on those sets. Don't know. Maybe you have some thoughts on that in the comments down below. But that is kind of where we currently sit. There has definitely been a retracement, a slowdown in the Pokemon market, at least from the older stuff perspective. Even Mega Evolutions, I looked this morning, is down to $260 a box as Wave 2 continues to flood the market. We're getting close to Phantasmal coming out. We'll see how that performs out of the gate. A lot of hype behind that set already on some of the single cards. So a lot of stuff still to play out here, but are we starting to see another round of buyers come in? I think that's the key question. We'll see how things finish up as we get to the end of the month here, and we kind of look back at this data again. But as always, curious for your thoughts and comments down below. Catch you on the next one. Peace.